Hey everyone, Geophysicist Stefan Burns here. We have a comet soon to perform an extremely close approach to the sun. This is C2026A1 MAPS, a sungrazer comet from the Kreutz sungrazer family. It's perihelion. Its closest approach will be just 0.005 astronomical units. That is less than the Earth-Moon separation distance. And this closest approach occurs on the 4th of April. So we are just a couple weeks away at this point, less than 3 weeks away. Here we see an image of Comet C2026A1 MAPS taken by Michael Yeager and Gerald Raymond out of Namibia, and we see it glowing quite brightly now. It's starting to take on some color, and well, it's only brightened since. Now it is a little bit brighter than 10th magnitude. So we have some new data, and we can put this comet into comparison with other Kreutz sungrazers. Here we see the latest data for MAPS. We see some trajectories that it may follow as it gets closer and closer to the sun. This is its pre-perihelion heliocentric distance. So it's just a little bit closer to the sun right now than Earth is. We'll look at the orbit of this comet next. It's going to accelerate very rapidly in the last week as it gets close to its perihelion. So basically once we hit April, this thing is really going to accelerate. Will get very, very close to the sun, could even impact the sun. And if it does impact the sun, perhaps it produces a significant coronal mass ejection or space weather event. That is certainly a possibility, maybe not the most likely, but a possibility we can't disregard until that perihelion occurs. But here we see other Kreutz sungrazers. We have C2024S1 Atlas, which was notable, but not that big of a deal in the grand scheme. We have Comet Lovejoy back in 2011 being the great comet of 2011. We have Ikeya-Seki comet. This was 1965. That put on a big show, visible during daylight. Really, really awesome for those that saw that back in 65. And then we have this very big Kreutz comet that was observed in 1882, and there are other ones going further back. Well, Lovejoy was a great comet of 2011. Here we can see its perihelion. It became a headless comet, so it's basically vaporized, but it did put on a show for a few days after that perihelion. If we look at A1 MAPS right now, it is brighter than Lovejoy was, and it's brighter at a distance further back from the sun. So it seems to be larger, and it's definitely brighter, and it's not undergoing these big outbursts of brightness like you sometimes see, which then indicates that the comet is decaying, disintegrating, or it ejected a large chunk of its mass outwards. Thankfully, that has not been the case. So as a result, it is stable and likely to get brighter and brighter, meaning it might enter into this medium Kreutz category right here, making this almost certainly the great comet of 2026 and perhaps a great comet of this decade. As of right now though, it's not looking like it's going to be comparable to Ikeya-Seki. It would have to dramatically brighten. That would kind of indicate some sort of disintegration, dispersal material as it reflects more light, and then it wouldn't actually make perihelion in the sun the whole deal and survive that journey. So it looks like we have a medium Kreutz comet ahead, though if it does flatten out with its brightness, it could be similar to Lovejoy. We just simply have to wait and see what's going to occur. I will keep you up to date on this channel, by the way, so make sure you subscribe. Here we see the light curve of Comet C2026A1 MAPS, and let's zoom in here on what we got. And so we see our apparent magnitude. Every time you go up 1, that's a 2.54 increase in brightness. So we see that it was under its expected light curve. Then it had this brightening, and it stayed now basically on that expected trajectory. Now just coming in with brightness values above 10. So you go from positive values to negative values. If it ever gets to negative values, it's very, very bright. The third brightest object in our sky, by the way, is Venus, negative 4.9. That's maximum brightness. Second brightest object is the full moon. Brightest object in our sky, obviously, is our sun. So for a comet to get that bright is quite a big deal. But a sungrazer can do it because it gets so close to the sun. Let's check out the orbit of this comet. We have that here with the sky live, and we actually see two comets. We have another one performing a perihelion in April, and this is Comet C2025 R3 Pan-STARRS. This also may be a visible eye comet in our sky in April. Its perihelion being April 19th at about 0.5 astronomical units, where again, the sungrazer's perihelion 0.005. So you can see that scaling distance much closer. But A1 MAPS is coming up from below the ecliptic plane. Let's hit play. We'll see it accelerate really rapidly, and see that in just basically no time at all, it then gets very close to the sun, and that is why it could spike in brightness, perhaps even impact the sun, because its trajectory takes it so close. So it looks like C2026 A1 MAPS is going to be a great comet this year, maybe even of the decade, if it continues to follow this trend. Of course, we're not going to get an amazing show from it if it actually impacts the sun, and that is also possible. So I'll keep you up to date on all this if you subscribe to the channel. This is my official clips channel. I also have my main channel. Make sure you subscribe to both. I've been your host, Stefan Burns. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great day, and I'll see you all very soon.